take care of all your business and also pursue your dream. I think that's what it is. I think people think, oh, I either got to work or pursue my dream. You can do both. Right. And a lot of times you have to do both.
What else we got?
All right, man. So check this out. Fat Joe is out here giving out good advice, but I don't know how it's going to be received. I actually like this one. He's basically telling rappers, get a job while you're aspiring on your way up to your career. Now, some people shun that. Some people think, I'm out here hustling. I got to get to it, and I don't need a 9 to 5. But Fat Joe says,
so if your man says he raps and he doesn't have a deal, meaning not a dollar coming in, not a show, nothing going on there, there's a problem with that. It's called Plan A, get a job. Plan B, hope you make it. This has never changed. Some guys be like, yo, I gotta get a regular job. Bro, you gotta get a job. If you got kids and you got this girl that got an apartment and y'all it up every day, you got to pay some bills. And a dollar in the dream, that buck that bought a bottle could have struck the lotto? Nah, not the buck that bought the bottle could have struck the lotto. Listen, your man say he rap and he on the couch all day talking about he can't get a real job, but he don't have $1, no fans, no nothing. Bro, you got to get a job. Ladies, come on now.
Yep. But he's basically saying there's nothing wrong with getting a job as you aspire and continue to go on throughout your career. I think that's dope advice. But I actually had a conversation with one of my little cousins about this. And he's younger. He was a total opposite and was totally against it. He told me, and this shows you age and maturity and wisdom. He was like, Mike, nah. He's like, a job is going to hold me back. I need to focus on this. I need to be able to expand my career. I need to be able to be free to do this, be able to do that. I'm like, bro, you have it all backwards. And in fact, when I saw this article, he's the first person I thought about. I think this is dope advice, but how do you all think it will be received? I don't think there's anything wrong with this. What you think, Skiz?
Nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, who is getting deals like that these days?
Good point.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I think realistically it's good advice. But I also think it's situational. So if you're in a situation where you can stay at home with your parents and have minimal bills or minimize your expenses, then by all means. But at some point, if you haven't made it by then, adulting must occur. So you could squeeze it in. And I also understand that there are some people that artistically have to have that much space too. You still got to pay bills. So set yourself up. Manipulate somebody. I don't know what you do.
Look, there's always a woman out here that will support the dream.
Not for long though.
I mean, look,
as long as she can be on the list.
Yeah, you got to understand, Kendrick been with his girl for I don't know how long. That's what happens sometimes. If you believe in a dude who got a mixtape enough, you might be able to see the mountaintop.
Right.
But just all jokes aside,
I think this is dope advice, though.
I think it's excellent advice because look, until your hustle can pay all your bills, it's a side hustle.
Right.
And for a lot of times, rapping, DJing. Look, I'm never it's me being a host in various clubs. That did not pay the bills.
Right.
Okay. I always kept a job in corporate America or something.
I think sometimes it might be looked at as, and this is completely backwards to me, but I've heard this at some point. Some people will say, well, it's corny to have a job. It's corny. You're not a real hustler if you have a job. Or
the problem is people equate being a musician or an artist or a rap artist to being a natural hustler.
Right.
Some people are just good with words.
True.
You're not a hustler. You need that job to get you to when your mouthpiece is paying your bills. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a hustler to be a rap artist.
Right.
That's not in the 101. Okay, you got to follow all these steps in order to rap.
Right.
Not how it goes. We talked about NWA. The only hustler out of NWA was Eazy-E.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can figure out other ways, and I don't understand why people frown upon getting a job to make a living. I mean, as a man, you should feel a certain type of way about that.
Right.
If I'm not eating the way I'm supposed to be eating, and I'm relying on somebody that she doesn't make that much money either.
Right.
And she's hoping that you stay with her once you make it.
Right.
Because we know how that story ends.
True.
So, I mean, you just got to get for real out here, man. Everybody can't hustle up enough to eat more than ramen. And I hope you want more
out
that
of
for
life.
yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Ninth Wonder said, I was at a music conference out in Phoenix, Arizona, a long time ago, producer conference. And he was on a panel and excuse me, he was this was after everything was over, and he, outside mingling and just kind of talking and chopping it up. And the one thing that he said was, I'll never forget this. He was like, I had been with my girl, who was my wife at the time. He said we met, they had been together since probably college. They had, he got kids and all that. He said his wife always supported his dreams and his goals as a producer, but he said it started to waver once his time didn't meet the money coming into the crib. So it's like, this is your passion, but it's not bringing money into this household for our daughter, for us to be productive and to sustain something. So that showed him that, it's cool to have a dream and it's cool to grind, but at the end of the day, the house got to get taken care of.
Look, Ninth Wonder is a success story. Look, because of my work schedule being weird, I'll be looking at these judge shows. Yeah. And it's nothing like, and every time it's a divorce or somebody getting sued or somebody needs it's always somebody be like, well, the Judge Mathis or Judge Lynn or whoever would be like, so what do you do for money? Right. It's like, oh, I rap. Yeah. And it's... Yeah, and they'll spit these little nasty bars in the courtroom.
Nasty bars,
and it's like, man,
not too short nasty.
I'll hear them and be like, oh man, you definitely need to get a job. Make sure you can take care of your household because this is not going to work for you.
You need to go ahead and sign up for Popeyes.
Come on, man. There are so and we talked about this. How sometimes talent just isn't enough.
True.
I know so many talented people who work in corporate America, might teach, might work at Amazon, because it's not that they have a lack of talent. Right. It's sometimes between a lack of opportunity. Sometimes lightning just doesn't strike.
Or they have some sense about themselves.
They do have some sense about this, and they got to realize until this actually, I remember this cat from St. Louis I used to try to push a little bit. Like, he was a barber. He had some good music, but he's like, yo, I'm gonna cut this hair until this rap starts paying my bills.
True.
And I think that's a realistic way to look at things. Like I said, if you are young and maybe your parents believe in your dream and you can live with them for a little while, right? But even then, that gets to be old because they'll be like, look, you in here eating up all my food and you're a grown man, right? This is getting old. And then, like, if you, like I said, we joked about it a little bit earlier, but women are not built to be taking care of a man for an extended period of time. True. Especially if you have a child, so you can't say, I've been in the studio all night and I sleep all day and I gotta feed my creativity, and you're not feeding the household. There's certain things that don't work in real world.
Go ahead,
I just say, or men.
Okay. Yes. There's
some female rappers out here,
and right now, it's still a situation where, like, these young ladies who are rapping, they out here getting it, and they got dreams too, and they looking for somebody to support their dream.
Absolutely.
If you have jobs that you can literally get by just signing up to do something and having a legit license, right? You can go deliver some Amazon. Yeah. You can do some Instacart. Yep. You can do some Ubering. You can do any of that type stuff.
Can rap all day.
All day.
All day.
Go out, get you a couple blocks, and be a man about yourself and still do your thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's no way you should sit up under anybody as a man or a woman, like you said, and not want to earn your keep.
Hustling.
When you're trying to do or chase your goals.
And you said something. Hustling.
You said something that was very potent when you talked about the rap starter kit. Like, it doesn't involve hustling, because hustling is glorified so much in hip hop. You think about, I remember when Jay first came out, I was like, man, dude came into it 100 grand strong. He was hustling. And we see so many people with that story that comes in.
Too many cameras out here. You can't do that no more.
Thank you. It's like,
you just got to be
smart about it.
Well, I'm not going to condone it on here, but there's people that know how to do it, and they do it the right way, and they get out of it.
True.
But there's also people that fiddle faddle with it because they think it's the thing to do, and that's just not them.
That part.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, you can hustle. Like, we have this almost negative connotation to hustling,
right?
Because we feel like you got to be on a corner. No, hustling could be like, okay, when I see kids selling bottles of water on a hot day, that's hustling.
Right.
Okay, if you work in a restaurant, you're like, yo, I'm going to make sure I take care of more tables than anybody. That's hustling.
That is. But in the same token, the reason why I brought it up is because they don't look at that as hustling.
Right.
They look at that as having a job.
Right.
They want to do the sexy hustling where I'm out, I don't have a job, I'm moving this and I'm moving that.
Right.
And I look like one of these rappers out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I look like the you know what I'm saying, the checklist. I'm checking stuff off of what I'm supposed to look like out
as
here.
a quote unquote rapper.
As a quote unquote rapper.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
Instead of just like, instead of actually going out and like, you get a job where you work and getting commission and you could actually look. That's how I saw hustling when I was, especially when I was doing sales. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in here. I need to sell this many of this many of that, because I know what I'm making hourly, but I also know what my lifestyle is at and what I like to do, and I like having things. So I need to get in here and get after it. I felt I was hustling.
Right.
A lot of y'all think hustling is got to be illegal. You out here stealing out of women's purses. That's not hustling. That's not hustling. You just a criminal. You know what I'm saying? You out here taking y'all be like, I stole 6 catalytic converters today. That's not hustling. You're just a criminal.
You bragging about making the most by doing the least.
Yeah. So, I just want there to be, if anybody who's young and listening is like, look, the hustle is one thing, but you can be somebody who's out here. If you have a job where if you just do the bare minimum, all right, you just take home what you take home.
Right.
But there's a lot of jobs out here. If you really want to hustle and get after it, you can live good if you just have the energy and the wherewithal to do it. And then you can put that extra time that you have into your dream and, still be able to be a man or woman.
Right.
Take care of all your business and also pursue your dream. I think that's what it is. I think people think, I either got to work or pursue my dream. You can do both. Right. And a lot of times you have to do both.
A lot of people ain't out here trying to be the best rapper either. Right. They just want to get on. So you got a lot of time on your hands. If you just want to pen some catchy stuff here and there, you're not writing all day. You know what I'm saying? And the status quo shows that, because the most popular stuff out there is not as involved as a lot of other hip hop was, or music in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to put away some time in order to be a thriving human in today's civilization. It is what it is.
True.
I'm not mad at that. When I saw this, I was so glad that he said this, because it's just looked down upon by so many people, and there's nothing corny about what he said. Like, take care of your business until it's time for you to, be able to quote unquote start your business. You know what I'm saying? Because you hustling backwards if you just out here chasing a pipe dream and, like Terry said, acting like you something that you're not. Because 9 times out of 10, that ain't even end well, if we being honest.
F around and find out.
Yeah, because and the thing is, this is the crazy thing. We've seen rappers who are on things slow down.
Yeah.
They wind up, instead of going to drive Uber like Big Pooh did.
He said it openly. Yep.
They're like, well, let me get to robbing these banks like Steady B and Cool C.
Or like more recently, what's his name? The one with the one eye.
Fetty Wap.
Fetty Wap.
Yep.
Fetty Wap during the pandemic.
Show money dried up.
Got caught up on some drug charges.
Yep.
And is now has to do at least 7, I believe.
Minimum?
At least 7 years.
I didn't know it was 7.
At least.
But this is a lot of times these rappers become the bank for their crews.
Yeah.
And you start thinking, man, I don't want.
Because their crew is extorting them.
Yeah, well, their crew is extorting them. Or then, like, you got people around you who you love, you care about, but they don't have any actual marketable skills. And so,
Keyword MC Hammer. Let's bring it back to him.
Yeah.
Tie him all the way back in.
Shoot, John Morant. But, we already talked about him.
Yeah.
But here it is. It's like, now you don't want to let these people down. You don't want them. And so you wind up taking penitentiary chances, because Fetty Wap probably had enough money to take care of himself. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't want to let down all these people. But he was doing stupid stuff like buying people, Phantoms. It was like, do they have enough money to keep up the oil changes on a Phantom? Do they have enough money to keep up the insurance on a Phantom? Like, you've created another bill for yourself.
Back.
Yeah. Into depreciating assets.
That's always been a conversation in hip hop that I've had multiple conversations about, is accountability from a standpoint of people that quote unquote make it are they required to bring everybody with them? Because a lot of people think that, and I'm like, yo, you're not required. Everybody can't come. That's what I always say. Everybody can't come with you. And I just feel like there's a section of the world that thinks you are responsible for everybody that you grew up with, that your 16th cousin and all these other. You don't want to be that person, bro.
Like, you ain't even responsible to your direct family. You know what I'm saying? To have to do that. Now, I hope your relationship is good enough to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't have, if I came into a lot of money,
right,
absolutely, my family is set.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My core family, and they know who they are.
They know.
We're set.
Right.
But that doesn't mean my distant cousin, who I ain't seen 20 years, or somebody I don't even know. I'm not
somebody who doesn't know when your
that.
birthday is.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not responsible for that.
Right.
But I am responsible for this core, and we gonna make it happen. And that's just that. It is what it is. But you can't bring everybody, and everybody from the neighborhood definitely ain't coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well,
They expect it.
They expect it, right?
They expect it, yeah. But the thing is, we talked about this a little bit, and you know, just to take it back to what we talked about with LeBron James, the people he brought with him all could do something.
Yeah.
You know,
he empowered them to
be able to do something. It's like, okay, we're going to learn. We're all going to learn how to fish instead of someone just giving us fish.
Right.
All right. And that's where a lot of people get them, you know, because if you're going to have some homies and you're going to bring them along, just don't be out here buying shoes and dinners and all this. Like, even if you do something like, hey, all right, I'm going to buy these Subways. Y'all can manage it and learn how to do business. Y'all got to actually do business. You can't sell dope or fight dogs out of the back. You know, you have to actually do business. And
buy the shoe store.
Yeah.
Jordan's son couldn't ball, so he got him a shoe store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and then that's when, you know, I remember when we talked about how, you know, unfortunately, many of these rappers in the past, either through some sort of recklessness or just violence or, you know, people setting them up, this, that, and the third, you know, that's when we get into the conversation. I said, like, if we reframe things, instead of saying, oh, you killed this individual, it's like, no, when you kill a rapper, you're burning down a black business.
Oh,
you know, so when we talk about it in that way, because think about all the people who are no longer being fed.
True.
All the people who, you know, it could be the guy who you grew up with who does beats, the guy who you grew up with who's good on the computer and he can freak like the graphic design.
Right.
You know, the guy who actually understands marketing because he might have been in the streets and he applies that street knowledge to corporate ethos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, sometimes we just have to look at things in a bigger picture and slow down a little bit. I know we just got this lump of money, but we don't have to go buy a Maybach today. You know,
yes, we do.
You know, and then realize, and then when you realize them shows start drying up, people are like, "Wait a minute, it costs $5,000 just to change the oil. What are we doing here?"
Right.
And I might be overstating that a bit, but that's the thing. A lot of times people wind up buying these luxury items and they think, "Oh, I forgot, I got to pay taxes on this."
There's maintenance that comes with this car, sir.
Hey, give me an old school and some property.
You buy a Range Rover, you just can't put Prestone into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some special mineral oil and it costs $800 to change out the coolant in your Range Rover, and you didn't account for that because you haven't come from that. And, you know, like I said, we just got to slow down a lot of times, you know, when we do get there. But, you know, if we're not there yet, keep a job, man. Keep some tax money, and so it makes sense. You know, to Uncle Sam, because they're gonna get their money one way or another. They're gonna get it on the front end or the back end, but they're gonna get it.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. That's real. Like I said, man, that's my motto. Everybody can't go. I ain't saying I'm going anywhere. I'm just saying everybody can't go.
No, that's and you want to do for people. You know, you see the story happen. Like I said, as we talk about MC Hammer, all the other stuff aside, it's a cautionary tale.
True.
Because had he just said, okay, I'm going to take care of my wife, my children, my immediate family, the people who are actually doing work that's bringing money into MC Hammer Incorporated, he'd have been fine.
I understand with Hammer. I understand. He talks about it. You know, they travel with so many people. So he's like, man, you know, I'm making sure these people are paid. They got families too. They're traveling with me. They're, you know, he used to have 20, 30 people on stage, background dancers, all that. He was feeding those people.
But he was paying people to do nothing.
True.
That was the problem.
That part.
And maybe, you know, somebody's cousin might have got shot and he's like, come on, let's go on the road.
Right. So that's dope. I mean, he's giving back, so I get it. But my thing is, I'm just like I said, man. Everybody can't go, man. And it's just you. And from an obligation standpoint, it's like you're not obligated to do that. I just don't. I've never agreed with that. To Terry's point, when he talked about his immediate family and everything, yeah, we're gonna take care of that. We good. We're straight, and they know who they are, and that's that. You know. So, but now Fat Joe, that's he gets to go star for this one. I rock with this.
No matter how talented you are, whoever's listening, if you have a job, please keep it. Just because you start to get a little bit of attention through Instagram, Twitter, or whatever, you know, likes don't translate to money.
Oh,
unless you thought.
Yeah, well,
what'd you say, Terry? It's one way. It's one way.
It's one way, and that's the way. And if that's not your way, then it's not the way.
Figure it out another way.
Unless you
start a job with a 401k, that was a bar.
You know, I've had, you know, posts and things I've done on get 100,000 likes, and I still was like, ooh, let's see how T-Mobile gonna get this money.